that the government of Ecoforum speaks differently, that says that the people of our nation or of this country are the real government. And as we stand in terms of us become the stewards and also becomes the public servants, it is our prerogative to come forward. And I have with me Confidant Wilson Page Ramalikani, and we're going to welcome him in South Africa. Thank you, sir, for coming over. And I am so blessed to have you in the studio. And I believe that you have actually those adages that have to come forward, especially in our time of reformation. Now, what is critical is that we want to tackle one of the important mechanisms that actually deals with the status quo of every nation. So technology has actually evolved from where we knew, if I can take you back, where we knew how we used to have our television. Now, let's talk about the inception of it, television. And we used to have those small ones that will be put at the corner. And each and every South African child will run to, the neighbor, and so that we can pay 20 cents and so that we watch our television. It went as far as our telephones. Our telephones also were just, were apart in terms of timing. And you will have to dial, and when you dial, the one who's on the other side would also be able to do what? To wait for you as, the oration, like the whole speech is now completed, then can also send the message. So those were processes in us coming to this time of, technology consummation. And I want to believe that, as I said, that even your cell phones and your computers, and we have evolved. We have come to a time where we agree. But now, one thing is this, that Africa at all times is the last, or maybe we are running after technology. But now, we believe that in this time where professionals are raised even amongst us, where companies are raised in amongst us, that carries the same knowledge, that carries the same ordinance in order to deliver to the nation, we have the capacity. We have the capacity in order to export, in order to give away that which we have in terms of our skill. So now the acumenship of every South African who's a professional, even those that have not went to school but has that grace in order to deliver something of innovation or invention. Now it is ours, it is in our best interest as a government of Ecoforum to stand out and give a platform in order to deal with these matters. So now today, I need us to get a bit deeper in this matter, because once we understand what technology has for us in our time, we will actually see it not as something that comes and takes our jobs in terms of artificial intelligence, and we will actually begin to embrace it. And also, we need to understand our community. As we have done our feasible studies and our censorship, we understand the people that we are leading. Now, as we've got the understanding, then we need to put our house in order as a nation, and also prepare a kind like of a training for our people, for our elders, in order also to be part of this technology, so that they can be able to participate in this era and epoch of technology economies. Now, let me just go back and say, Confidant Wilson Page Ramalikani, we are honored to have you, sir. Now, I don't want to put boundaries on what we're talking about, but in general, we're talking technology economies. Now, what is it that you have in your heart which you can share with South Africa and also with Africa and the nations to know exactly that which it's original, that God has bestowed upon your heart, and that which the people who are ordinary, who are on our streets in the locality, can also begin to now engage in.
Thank you so much for having me, our President, Bishop Langa. We cannot ignore technology. Technology is evolution. Evolution means basically something changes from its original state and then into the inhabitants. As you can also recognize that birds, they also migrate. When they migrate, they might be able to can change their diet.
That's right.
There will be sort of a technological menu or application just for them to can breed in that climate or for them to exist in the climate. So economically, technology is an evolution, and it's something that is precise, and it's everything that is daily. When I mean daily, I refer to we are either affected by technology directly or indirectly.
That's right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we as Ecoforum, we also acknowledge the change.
Okay.
I'll just give two examples. The first one would be recognizing where the world is going.
Okay.
Though we are a developing country,
That's
but
right.
then we are global citizens, and now we have the internet. With the internet, we are now being able to participate with the whole world, because now the whole world belongs to WW, World Wide Web. Should a little boy start a company somewhere in Garankuwa in the northwest in South Africa, as soon as they take their business to the World Wide Web, it means that they could eco-commerce to the whole world. They could distribute to the whole world.
That's right.
So in that sense, we are part of obliging to what technology is. So with the Ecoforum, we recognize corruption, and we also studied the traits of corruption to say that when we apply what we call a distributed ledger, which is blockchain, to our elections,
That's right.
where a person could vote at home without not being intimidated to say, no, you're wearing these colors, this area is being zoned by these colors, the government in charge are of this particular colors, where people can now vote at the comfort of their own homes using technology, which is blockchain.
That's right.
Which is pretty much a distributed ledger, where each and every person can enter into that ledger and put out information that everybody could see. We also have what we call e-contracts, whereby we have an agreement, but then we put it out there for everybody to see. So think about it like Wikipedia, right? Wikipedia is where we get the source of information on where we research. However, we are able to can edit.
Okay.
And then we are able to can save pictures and information, but then however the next user might then edit Wikipedia or update it as according to the evolution. What are the latest or what has transpired with what we are researching? If it's ecology, if it's agro-processing, or if it's business, or if it's also the fourth industrial revolution, because many things are also now participating or partaking in the evolution itself. Okay. So how do we keep update? By putting the input, which is readable information, which is pictures and stuff like that. So now back to the issue of using technology as a democratic tool that ensures free and fair. We will then be able to can record people that are alive, that are able to vote.
Okay.
In a sense that we have learned that in the past people could just use an old ID, but then where can that be verified? So blockchain is such a technology that we could use. It started around 1992 as date stamps, so that people could record the actual date of the stamp, sort of like a notary lawyer.
All right.
See? And then so that people can then take it from the inception date to say these are the further occurrences that we had. So blockchain will give us that opportunity as Ecoforum to say this is a free and fair conduct of you participating, your human right to elect whoever you feel comfortable to lead. And then we'll make sure that the numbers are equivalent to the number of people, the numbers of people rather, that are eligible to vote.
I wanted to come there just to interject there and come there so I can bring understanding in that matter, because it is important for us to really bring that understanding. Yes. So I wanted to ask, how will it be in terms of, when we say people must get to understand, that we as the government of Ecoforum, we want to utilize blockchain in line with elections. Now, how will it be the process, meaning in us coming to that, fulfilling that which we have put on paper? How is the process to an ordinary South African who's out there?
Awesome. What we have lost as human beings is trust. We lost trust in a sense that there is fraud. We lost trust in a sense that people now can hack into accounts and stuff like that. As I've explained with blockchain, blockchain will allow other people to also see the happenings that is happening in blockchain. Meaning that the first block, it was called the Genesis block, which was done by Satoshi Nakamoto, the makers of Bitcoin.
That's
so
right.
now they will be able to can retrace back that what was put in or what was recorded on the blockchain.
Okay.
It has data, it has the details of the previous user. So in that sense, because we have lost trust as human beings, now we can able to go back and refer to the occurrences that are there. It sort of gives us the background.
Okay.
It sort of gives us the background behind the scenes view of what could be happening with that. So the process would be to apply this technology, because in advanced countries we also have ministers of blockchain. That is just how far it has been recognized. Now we're sending money with our phones because it is cheaper, it is convenient. As we talked about the evolution of technology on TV, now our TVs are smart TVs. They can use 1, 2, 3 more applications.
Okay.
So that is where the world is going. So as Ecoforum also recognizes where the world is going. And as a building party, we're also thinking about the future Ecoforum members that are now 15, that are now 16, that are now inclined with this technology.
That's
you
true.
see them on the streets with their headphones, you see them forever in their phones. So those are the people that we want them to really understand that we also thinking forth about their conduct and behavior. Hence now we bringing them into Ecoforum.
You know, let me just elaborate a bit there, confident that the application of blockchain technology in government, meaning the importance, if I could put it that way, that blockchain will allow the government forum to deal and relate with business and also with citizenry in a transparent manner.
That is true.
And also it says that this will emphasize transparency and ring back the trust between government and citizenry.
Definitely.
That's the case. Now I see there just for a while where blockchain application on the following sectors.
Yes.
Now you have put it there in terms of policy making, that blockchain on, you spoke about election and voting, and also we speak about housing and title deeds, and also we speak about Department of Health and Safety, and we spoke about law and order, we spoke about imports and exports.
Yes.
Now we spoke about mining industry. So now I need you to elaborate in all those sectors, you know, the importance of blockchain in how the government of Ecoforum will be actually presenting it to the nation of South Africa.
Definitely. Let me start with agriculture.
That's right.
Or we start with the fishery, for example. So we would be able to can locate the lake that's been fished, and then to say, do they have a license? How did they catch this breed? What did they use? Is it halal? Is it kosher? According to the Jews. So Ecoforum will be actually giving us that standard in governance, in recognizing how we can retrace the origin of things. Like as we know here in Africa, we have a challenge of illegal miners.
That's right.
We have a dirty industry called the blood diamonds, where people are now killing for diamonds. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now, also, it will give us an opportunity to differentiate between the Zodiac Aquarium, which is a diamond that has been made at the laboratory, as compared to a real diamond, because we would understand where does the diamond come from. Was it mined by an illegal miner? Was the person eligible to mine, or is it just something that was created from the lab? Because if I can put a diamond here and a Zodiac Elabram, you would think they are the same. But until we get the magnifying glass and until we weigh them, until we test them. So Ecoforum now is aware of the principles and the steps and the processes that have been used previously, which are clearly not serving the people. For instance, with the Department of Housing, Rural Development and Settlement, we recognize that I might register an RDP house before you, but then where would the proof be? But then with blockchain, with Ecoforum's government, we would record the first application that cannot be defrauded or be changed or be edited for that matter.
That's right. That's
yes.
right.
And then also when it comes to medicine or health, we recognize blockchain in developing countries like Germany to say what they do is they allow doctors and practitioners to keep their records on their blockchain, whereby in a case of emergency, the basic information they could get from you, if it's your name, your surname, they could check on the blockchain registration and they could see when was the last time you had a meeting with the doctor, what medication did they use, what did they apply, what is wrong with you. Instead of trying to run different tests, they could quickly just go directly to what is your challenge. So the application of blockchain, it is fundamental because it will eliminate corruption for one, and then it won't make people to go against their weight, because we'll have e-contracts where people now, digital contracts, where they sign the contracts with the terms and conditions, they put it out there, it is there for life, everybody can see it. So now that could also be applied at court to say, this is the agreement on this day between the two people, these are the signatures, these are the terms of agreement. So it also relates to exports and imports and stuff like that.
Just want to hear that.
Yes,
okay.
Into the grading system as well, to say we had a contract but then it's cancelled, but then we cannot go back on our way. So blockchain basically is a distributed ledger where knowledge and information is stored,
okay,
and where it could be used either for our favor or just to protect us. But then because now we are a government of true governance, that's why we would like to apply it. Because number one, that is where the world is going. We cannot ignore that banking has already started to change. We have digital banks, you get what I'm saying?
That's right.
So now we have to apply also the principles of blockchain to eliminate corruption. When there's an agreement between government and the people, it must be recorded, it must be signed, it must be put on the distributed ledger. So that now the people can say, you as government said this particulars on this date, and now you are going against your word. Because now our people are tired of just promises. Our people are smarter beyond just giving them free t-shirts and just going on door-to-door campaigns just before the elections. They need commitment.
Noted.
So blockchain could give us such a commitment to say, here's what we say, and we're not going against our way. It's a pure instrument of pure governance.
You know, it's taken and noted from myself because I got to understand that the community that we have are people whom, as I said, that we as the government of EcoForum, we actually now, we have tagged them as the real government. They are actually getting more smarter than the government. Even in line with the political inclination or knowledge, you know, of politics, they are becoming much smarter. So now they cannot be deceived as they used to be deceived. So now that's why it's important that a government must emerge that would be able to lay out and put a table so we can talk. And that is why people must know the importance why we are doing this. Because you need to understand we don't even own media. So it's very difficult even for people who has the right content in order to deliver to the people, to deliver. Why? Because why? The media, as I said, has been propagandized. So now we need many voices that can come on board and start speaking so that we can actually speak in the interest of what? Of building a South Africa that is for all. Now, thank you, Confidant, there, as you have spoken there. But now you have indicated one of the importance, which is banking. Because now I hear that, as I am part of it, that the government of EcoForum want to deal with the, it wants to redress, you know, the systems of the bank. And I love how you have put it there. You said there are, the banking systems have been now transformed to digital.
Yes.
So now that's why you see many banks are closing now. Many branches are closing, reasons which we know. Because why? There are some banks that actually have now spearheaded the run. Even the young banks have spearheaded the run, and technologically so they've come on board. But now mine in terms of EcoForum is that the government of EcoForum wants to present a virtual banking. so that we can involve our communities, not only be subjected to cooperatives whereby we only will put our money and our only account will be loan. You understand? So now that's why we find all those discrepancies among, or meaning in that, or whether it's at the level of directorate or at the level of the community. Because now you have only one account, which is what? Loan. So we need to go further than that, whereby our people becomes shareholders of these banks that we're talking about. Our communities begin to also, meaning they have to also begin to get something out of these banks, because this will be the kind of banks that will be erected for which reasons? For the reasons of community building. But it starts first with human development. So now human development will take us to the level of what? Of also giving them an opportunity and a platform of what? Of them becoming shareholders. Because now if the private industry can actually open a door for private ownership, then we can also do it in the government sector. In the government or in the public sector. We can open a platform for our people to also come on board and begin to put on a little that they have. And imagine if they put a little that they have, and with the number that we have, with 55 million people, even if it's 12 million that are actually correctly recorded in terms of being employed. But now the 12 million can actually also bring change to our nation. Just that small contribution of them bringing down 100 rand, for example, of a 12 million. There we're talking further more than 1.2 billion. Definitely. So now we're talking 1.2 billion that will be put down in the coffers, of community building, in pesos, whereby we're dealing with matters that actually relate with our people. So now that's why I want to bring it to South Africa, that the government of EcoForum is not just coming, as we said, we're not in opposition. We are coming out as a building organ in order to spearhead policies and become lawgivers. We want to become policymakers. We want to be known and to be articulated as such. So now when you encounter with us, that's what you're going to get. So now let me take it further, and just before we come into closure, because as we talk blockchain, we are saying we will bring blockchain in every sector. Will these machines or meaning these systems take away jobs, or will it actually begin to develop our people even much further in skills? Because when I meet people, they ask me, President, tell us, when you begin to incorporate such, are we going to lose our jobs? Computers will take our jobs. I said, no. Actually, they are going to experience what we call improvisation.
That is true.
You see, improvisation. Why? Because how can we allow our people to be subjected to what? To general. Imagine if they call you general. If they call you general anywhere where you are, you must be careful of that name. Because the word general might mean you can do any other thing. You can pick up papers and sometimes they can send you to shops while you have a PhD. So sometimes being a general, it does not actually begin to explain and give a proper meaning of who you are. So we need to pull our people away from just being general workers, a general worker. But now how about we bring all this technology, and therefore the skill transfer, there's the skill impartation and skill development, so that the person who actually used to earn, which is so-called minimum wage, we need a living wage here, minimum wage, at 3.5, imagine in South Africa, 3.5, and that person who earns that money would actually have the opportunity to can get a promotion and get into other hierarchy. Why? Because he's no longer a general. You see, he's no longer a general. He has a skill now. He's technical in his approach, and he's got a skill. And now even in terms of wage and salary, there's going to be development. So take us the confident Ramalekan, so we can understand as an expert in that. And as you are giving directives to our nation, as to say, this is where the government of EcoForum is taking us.
Many thanks. We need to coexist with technology. We can imagine 2 days without robots functioning. There will be a high level of accidents. There will be delays. Everybody will just want to show you, I'm the general, I'm driving this car.
Yeah.
The road is mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Technology, we need it. It is not a threat. However, it is a leverage. It is a tool.
Okay.
But then it will be, how do we then apply a tool? Like a screwdriver can be a tool, but then you still need to take your hand and grab it.
Okay.
And you still need to also recognize it is a flat screw, is it a star? So it will actually open our minds to say, how do we then live with this technology that we have created?
Okay.
Because now the human mind is the most beautiful brain of all living beings. Genesis 1:26 tells us that as well. So now we also need to recognize the power that technology has. But then we also need to recognize also the velocity that it creates, how a machine can work faster than a human being. Not necessarily to say it replaces the person who can produce the production, but to say with the production, we can now be able to feed how many families. So we need to keep it at the outcomes. If we apply this course, the effects of it, how can we measure it? How can we then utilize this technology? So now EcoForum is recognizing that because we're not in the ancient days. Time is evolving. Now everything is digital, you see? So now the same with banks. And then also EcoForum recognizes that we cannot plan for funerals only. We cannot now just get together for funerals only. Our youth need to recognize the digital power that they have in terms of investing, in terms of applying all of this application. Remember also that the market fell in 2001.
That's
so
right.
The market collapsed. But then imagine if Bitcoin or other digital platforms were at the ripe at the time. Now some people would have been saved because their money would have been stored digitally, and some people, their money will be stored in towers. So we also need to recognize the evolution, the change, that we once had a black and white TV, but now we had color. Now we have a smart TV. So we are in that era. We are blessed to be in such an era of artificial intelligence and all of these applications. So we should use them rather well, referring to the example of voting, because now we have a system that can back up, that can say, no, we had 3 votes. Regardless if now the track of election or the bug is being hijacked or they have been banned, it is recorded, it is a fact, it is there. So that is why EcoForum is there, is thinking about how they're thinking. We are actually participating in the ideology of metacognition. We are recognizing how we are thinking and we are measuring how we are thinking, because now the people IQ are not the same as pre-94. Now the people are smarter. We need to also apply smarter application, and we need to respect our people because it is their vote. We don't see them as just a statistic. However, we see them as people that we could collaborate with, people that we can build with. Hence, we are a building party.
You know, when you talk about building part, I just need you for just a second, because I know South Africa is watching, and South Africa is so, you know, they are boiling within them, especially when you start hearing the truth, because you shall hear the truth and the truth shall set you free. And when we say SA back to God, we don't mean to church, we meaning to God, because He's the omniscient. We're talking about Him as the beginning of all knowledge. So the knowledge of technology did not just erupt, it did not just come forth. So after corruption, there should be an eruption of what? Of a governance, which is EcoForum. And I want to say now, to add to what Confident is speaking, in line with technology economists, that now in terms of the policies that are being put down, our growth plan of action 2100, which speaks to 100-year, meaning a plan which speaks to meaning to a generation coming, it actually also elaborates as such that this technology we're talking about, blockchain, with its genesis, we are saying, and we've been saying this, and we are going to say it again. We're going to say it before the elections and after the elections, and we will say it even as we implement. We spoke about it in terms of law and order, and we said it will help us in terms of law and order, so that we can assist our public servants and also officials not to find themselves actually being part of some illicit kind of practices. And how is that? This is how it's going to be. Like when you have such a technology in a police station, for example, just namely one, Now that mainframe there is been now, piped and also connected accordingly. And now every official that is actually employed, also recorded in that mainframe, will also be recorded in line with their rifles, with their guns and all that. And I keep on saying this, that this is what is going to happen, and this is what is happening now. Now, there will be a technology that speaks to the gun, which the technology is called the camera technology, the DNA technology. And even when it happens, because we understand plagiarism is everywhere, parties want to be great, everybody want to be great, and obviously some of them, they will learn from minds which are when people just diminish you as such because they call you small party, but when they hear the things that are spoken which are of greatness, which can really bring liberation to our people equally, and also in terms of how we cohere socially. Now that gun will have that camera technology, which will begin to detect, even as a policeman, or even we go to private ownership of a gun. Either way, because they will have to be in line with one of the mainframes all over South Africa. Then they will actually come. It will be like tada, you are on camera. They pull the gun, tada, you are on camera. Why? Because now we are now recording an event. Whether it's a policeman being attacked or attacking, or whether he needs backup, or whether he will need other vehicles to come and back him up, then that will show us exactly what the policeman is going through, or whether someone is killing somebody, and we need to have a case that we must prove in the court of law, which we don't even have the exhibit. But this technology will help us in order to get down to the matter and see the footage. Because why? The camera technology could have offered us that kind of investigation even prior in the case. So now going further, there would be a DNA technology, as I mentioned, that this DNA will be working in line with fingerprint and also with pulse, in order to showcase whether the person that handles the gun is dead or alive. And if he's alive, he was conscious. Now, if he's conscious, then it means we don't say it's premeditation, but we could say also a man could be standing out there trying to do a self-defense. But now the camera will tell us all. But now also in line with the fingerprint, it will tell us that this might be the right owner of the gun. Or yes, because the only person who can actually begin to utilize that gun is the person who has the same fingerprint, and the person who's also having a pulse or alive, if I can put it that way to all of us to understand. And once that person pulls the trigger, then somebody gets hurt or somebody pass or die or shot. Then we will know that the person who actually has shot is the person of the fingerprint. But now let's come to the case where a gun is being stolen and somebody steals your gun, and they go out there and they want to actually begin to create a crime of sort. And now if that criminal takes a gun and want to shoot, or either way want to do any other thing, hijacking or maybe house robbery, that gun automatically cannot actually pull out those bullets. Why? Because trigger depends on what? On DNA technology. It is doable. It was tested in South Africa, and I tell you, it was not assented for reasons that we know, because sometimes we don't assent it for our personal or reasons and selfish reasons. So that's why we're saying the government of South Africa needs what we call a national unity government that has to come with new ideas, and also in agreement to build something that will absolutely bring salvation, not only salvation to but salvation to the lives and to the also the immortality that we have actually encountered as a nation, whether in shooting, whether in genocide, whether in carelessness, or even sometimes in experience. Somebody takes a gun, a young boy want to show a friend, and somebody dies in the midst of that showcase, or as they are showing each other the gun of an elder. But now, because of this technology, we are going to diminish that infant mortality. We are going to diminish that youthful immortality. We'll be able to say to them, this is how it goes, and nobody will utilize a gun that is not his or that is not hers, and that will help us as a nation. So the government of Ecoforum talks in line with such, and as I've also spoke about it with the health departments. I've heard on media somebody asking, how can we change the status of our health facilities? And I'm telling you, I was there last week, and somebody passed that I know. I cried tears. Why? Because when I entered there, drain was dripping from the roof. There was, like these gutters, dripping from there, and there was dirty laundry on the floor, and all those. And I hear people sugarcoating and speaking great there in ministry, and we need to actually spearhead and take this head on. We cannot allow our elders and our people to live in such condition. When you get in there, you know for sure that when you smell, the smell of it tells you about death. There's no decadence. There's no, you can scent it, yeah. And because now when you go to private hospitals, you come through, you can smell the cleanliness. You can smell that there is life, there is hope. But when you get to our public facilities, you will cry tears in what is happening there. And my question is that these ministers and the MECs are going there, but it is time to have them, because they felt they can do it by their strength, but it is only God who can help South Africa. And I tell you, he will give knowledge that we have never had before. He will give some kind of sighting and some kind of wisdom that will definitely save this nation. And I want to tell you, what I saw in the hospital shall we see no more coming this election and even beyond. Now look at this now. Now when you come into the hospital, most of our old people who can't even begin to await themselves on some lines, long lines and queues, who will be sweat again by professionals, because they don't even love the conditions that they are actually working in. So now, in other words, now these two people they don't love where they are, and what's going to happen is going to be something that is not actually humane that is going to take place there. So we need to create an atmosphere where our professionals will enjoy their work, and also our communities, when they come, they will enjoy coming to their clinics and hospitals. When they come there, you just put a name or an ID on that blockchain machine, and you put it there. It's a system, and it tricks out what? Meaning a file of a patient that tells you about even also their past visitation, and also their last diagnosis. Because once you know their last diagnosis, then you will know exactly what the person actually is encountering, what could be the situation. Then we will actually begin to deal away with what we call meaning a wrong prescription, and people be given many sicknesses, and once they get into that, our people are dying in our hospitals at our watch. The government of Ecoforum is speaking technology economies. And I want to say to everybody at home, make a decision in this winter. And when the winter of South Africa comes, even on the 8th of May, we are not talking rhetorics. We are talking logos, word, reason, and plan. And this will be the new politics that has entered our nation. And we need leadership that can come forward. We're tired of pointing each other's weaknesses. We want to point our enemy, and our enemy is not the parties that you know. It's not the president that you know. Our enemy is poverty. Our enemy is this inequality. Our enemy is the social standards that are there. So we are committed as a movement to stand and eradicate such. And I want to thank you once more and say, keep on watching and keep on listening. We're coming back very soon. And be blessed. South Africa, back to God. Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let the power go back to the Creator. And God bless you. God bless South Africa. Amen. Confident. What an insight. What an insight. What a 30 minutes one can spend. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, leadership. Next. Yes. This is nothing for you.
It's nothing.
This is nothing. Okay. I want to check the sound. Come again? Yes, Tsheko. Tsokofatso Mosalane. Yeah. I'm not even talking about what time? Yeah, no, what doctor? Professor. Oh, okay. Thank you, mother. Oh, yes. I know rabbit. Thanks, ma'am. Let me just bring preparation. Are you okay? Never stop. No, we touch a more, go like far at the way, and then talk about firstly professionalism, how it's been handled also in South Africa, and take it as far as the importance of professionalism. Obviously, when we become skillful at something, we minimize the mistake. Yeah, it's when this goes yeah, then take us there, then you can hit it politically, and your insight is there. Okay, all right. Can we go check out another thing? All our kids there? Okay. All right. So good. Okay, but we're a shop. No, there's no wrong and right. You are right. Yeah, it's your view, because as a people must know, in terms as a policy maker in this country, there need to be a place where you. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the target.
Yeah, let me get it. It's
Oh, that's
yeah. Ma, I'll sleep. There's no audio. Yo, I'll sleep.
Live with elections.
Okay.
How will
Yeah, it came after a while. I'm not sure why. Or it was mine.
computer
And then the sound, I'll sleep. Or there is. Or usually it's, yeah. Nekere mo level height for my altogether. At all. Please fix the audio for us. It will add a beautiful thing. Okay. What do you think? I want to hear Because I think one they can enjoy it. What do you think? Oh, okay. But this one.
The taste is that.
Can't get it dark mode. Can't get it dark. Avian. Can't get it dark mode. Or Elia move. Yeah. It's high. Okay. The guy. Oh man. But as I say, a flat.
Especially in our time of information. Now, what is critical is that we want to
House level. Yeah.
mechanism that actually deals with the status quo of the information. So technology has actually evolved from where we knew, if I can take it back, where we knew how we used to have our television. Now let's talk about the inception of television.
All right. Yeah, this is not bad at all because it's up. So they'll have to do the camera. Yeah, it's power. It's double power. Who do you ask? So social, very so must change everything. The camera. But will it make you comfortable? It's better.
Anyhow, it's fine.
But it's what? House level.
In that sense, we are part of obliging to what technology is. So with the Eco Forum, we recognize corruption and we also study.
No, it spoils the recording.
What is the problem?
That cannot be defrauded or be changed or be edited for that matter.
That's right. That's right.
Medicine or we recognize what they do is they allow doctors.
Ubokola nje ona fresh ubokola
Tshwanetse ba o tshware.
ya ona abo kuba tamaso wa balela wa bona sense hotelita
The sound is yeah.
wazi ile ke ona kupiti koche riche ona
yeah, the only way is to for you have to hold them. It's because of the distance from you to the because it's just air. That's the only it's air between it's air. Because sometimes some people don't like holding microphone, so
one two yes one very good class you go class
yeah we only have two.
One good
1 2 1 2. He's at his house. 1 2 1 2. But still, it's only for one person. It's gonna be only for one person. Still.
1 2 1 2
There's gonna be
The microphone is for 1%.
It's those special ones. But then if you give to one person, then the other people, how are they gonna? Still gonna be. It's gonna.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you can give it to him. Go to Mama. You tell her, Mama. 1 2. He's connecting it. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 That's why like you open like you check Facebook. Yeah, it's funny because even last time what TV the sharp mara 1 2 mara 1 Facebook is something else. 1 2 mara ke sound 1 2 1 2. This one I don't know if it's better or what. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah? 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, give me the microphone. You everything more.
You know, give it someone
On stage. Abi, how are you? I get to tell 1 year. Those microphones. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 2
So it's a look.
1 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 1 2 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 2 2 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2.
The later part of the record.
But on TV, it doesn't have the noise. That's the funny thing.
Serious? So are you saying even online to those that are listening?
Hello, Lizzie.
They might not be experiencing.
Hi. Hey. Break for just leave. I leave it. Amas. Eh? Eh? Network yako yebeta uthini kumela ngaphandle ngiyakuzwa but angikuzwa kakuhle ngiyakuzwa manje ngiyakuzwa manje I didn't know ukuthi aliko studio. I'm in the studio. I need a guest here, so I was gonna call you after in the afternoon. And the Rebecca deal like who busy. That's why the phone I will my 3. Yeah. Anytime from tomorrow.
Hello, welcome. I saw only before. Shh. It's nice now.
Just that small contribution of the.
We're doing something different,
Mama?
yeah, with what we have. Yeah, but the impact, it's one more. You won't believe how many people it reaches. Take 90-something-thousand people, 2 minutes. You know, we go like that. Then we want this other gentleman who does land expropriation in a different way. Or no, we need to. The way we talk it, you'll hear one day when I talk about that. But no, we don't take that. Yeah, no, it's different because of. It is different. Yeah, you know, yeah, so this gentleman has 800,000 followers.
Yeah, it's like
our membership last few weeks ago. Yeah, last week I think. Yeah. Okay.
One like this, one like that.
Give me a shot.
That's right. Yeah. Like this, ne?
If you want like this, but do you want to hold them?
That I hold.
Oh, it's gonna be.
But it's what I'm, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's what I'm offering. So.
The both or
I don't know,
it's red.
yeah, it's red, yeah.
It's green.
Okay. Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Okay.
Sensors.
Yeah, you got
What is step?
What is step?
Let's start with that one first.
Okay.
Please do it again. Okay? Okay. Let's do that one.
okay.
One more time. No. Which one are we doing?
This
We're
now.
going line.
Like,
Oh.
Yeah, elite.
Yeah, we go on. Okay.
the
Thanks,
last
madam.
one.
Yeah.
One more time.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Oh, after this interview, we are done. We are finished.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, let's go. Like I said.
yeah, but sorry. Maybe they were. Okay, Tulufelo. Tulufelo. Tegufatso. Tulufelo. No, it's fine either way. I can see how it's gonna work, or is it pressure, or again.
We don't have pressure.
Oh, we thought maybe there were other young professionals who are lined up.
No, we don't have too much pressure.
Oh, okay.
Nani ke na no le batla ke na.
1-1. Two low.
Two.
2-2, 1-1. Either way.
Are discussing.
Yes.
Mordi Chuck, we learn solely
Already.
but then about two, so I want them to be comfortable.
Yes. Now I'm just saying either way. Like,
Yeah,
it's
should
gonna
we
work.
leadership? Should we go with them 1-1 or 2-2? It's fine.
2 is fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yes, not twins, it's confusing.
Eh?
Some will say no, but we saw her, it's just that she changed. Why is she here again? Yeah.
Oh, it's good really too. Ne?
Really true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like we'll be the same person. I'll scour.
And some
Once they
answers
know
might
that,
be
then
the
when you
same.
talk, they will know. Right? Ola is the pity. But Ola Sonyana. Yeah. They will start
one
to identify. Yeah. No scour that like very.
Yes, sir. We are ready. Me, I'm ready for you.
What's the name again?
Mosala. Mosala.
Counter them.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome once more to the Presidential Talk with BJ Langa, the president of EcoForum. I am so blessed and ecstatic for the opportunity that we have in order to speak to South Africa. Now, tonight or in this day, we are having a great time because in the studio, I'm not alone, I'm blessed. You could see it's a blessing of dual grace in order to deal with matters of importance. I have in the studio, meaning we could say young professionals in South Africa, with their concerns and also having to begin to voice out the importance of their acumenship and also in how they stood in order to fight away this mentality of being a general and also beginning to specialize so that we as a nation, even in terms where there's a need of meaning the isism, so that professionalism can come on board, then we can bring them closer so we can also be able to have skillful workers, skillful even workers who are young, who are South African, who are ready to take South Africa going forward. Because remember, now every nation or any other nation is actually great to its best in line with its professionals that are in that nation. So now I just need to welcome them so that you can help me, South Africa. Let's welcome for the very first time on our studio. This is our confidants. This is our miss are here, and then they will actually also speak to you in a while. Thank you for coming, Ms. Tsofatso Musala. How are you doing, madam?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I am a blessed man, and I'm thankful to have you. And I believe that you are a professional, and we're not putting any pressure in anyhow, but we need you to, just as we're talking to South Africa,
yes.
We're creating a synergy whereby we want people to know that they are thinking tanks. Get some money quickly, quick money, but they stood there and sometimes at rest without food, without money for traveling, without money for books, and they stood all those times. So that's where professionalism has been born. It is born out of commitment. It is born out of one being intense and profound to what they believe, but also the other thing is that professionalism gives you speciality in order to specialize on something. So you are in the studio today talking to South Africa in regard to a very important thing, the young professionals of our nation. And before I can even go further, let me just turn again and greet also she who actually looks like you and hear from her exactly what she carries. Thank you for coming. Ms. Solufelo Musala, how do you do, madam?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
I'm a blessed man. Thank you, ma'am. Now, Ms. Solo, we are so thankful again that you've come so far, and with what you carry in terms of social, I mean, you know it better than me, that which you carry, you've got a social kind of an acumenship, and which you want to bring it out to our people in order to also tell South Africans, and also to showcase in terms of your research, where we are as a nation and where we come from, but where we are, and also where we must be and how can we get there, and what is it that must be done in our time now in order to deal away with our behavioral. Now, before I go further, we all understand that education is one of those systems that are of importance even to our government. I mean, the government of EcoForum is more concerned about it. And I want to say this, that it's important for us to understand why we need a new entrant in order to bring the newness, to bring the newness of things, to the refreshing time. Now, education system, as we speak about it on our GPA, on our growth plan of action, we say also need to be prioritized, and also to prioritize the economic priorities related skills, because we want that education that speaks to the economy. You see, we have so many professionals who we have in our nation that are having meaning qualifications, but now you find that they cannot do anything about their qualifications. So now we need our education to speak in line with with the economy that South Africa is having and also want to have. And also we also spoke, and as we launched in December on the 5th, our GPA 2100, we spoke ECD. We were the first to speak about it, but it doesn't matter because we are the new entrant. But now when we spoke early development childhood, and we said that now it should be incorporated with the following, because now we want to give directives and solutions. Now with the following, we said now our children must first be taught what we call natural law. You see, I mean, if a human being will exist without knowing who the creator is, it is, I mean, at times it is destructive, and also it will bring confusion in the process. And now we said, secondly, also, we need to develop our children in a way that we also, meaning build them up in terms of their, what we call their child's portfolio of evidence. What will that actually do to them? It will bring identity to our children, and also to identify their expertise even when they are at an early stage. Then you will know, like as we said in China, when the kids are playing, they are playing with digital, communica and also instruments. But here we're teaching our children le imbuzi, le Nkomo, and then that's what we're doing. And then now I just want to to make sure that we understand each other, because once our children learn, also in line with technology, then we have built a synergy for them to be able to function and to be able to what? To function, because that's what we need, to function. And they will love what they do at an early age, and that will give them an opportunity also to what? To be able to what? To become part of the economy of South Africa. Now let me come down to the third thing, so that we run all the rights that are there, and also protecting them, but also we also meaning saying to indicate to also what? To respect those who came before them. And now again, we said we also need to teach our children financial literacy. Now, we believe as the government of EcoForum that now every child from school, whether they will be interested as they get to higher, to learn agriculture or law or any social, degrees, they also need to be taught financial literacy. Why? Because we need to be taught as a nation how to be financially inclined in terms of its literacy, money, and so that we can actually move out of debts. We've been in debts for so long because of how things have been. So now if we can have a debt-free nation, we will have it only through what? Through education. So now the other thing also would be, which is not the least, a computer literacy. From grade 1, let them come and play with it. Just familiarize themselves with computer. And it will actually get in and sink in as it goes, like phones. I mean, they don't know how to press this, but in time they start pressing, they know how to press and how to answer the phones. Now, lastly there, they also need to be taught at an ECD level agriculture, because you remember agriculture was kicked out of our system because it became, let me just say, as we're starting to talk, what is your take in regard to professionals in our nation, in South Africa, and professionalism?
Well, I will start off by just making a brief introduction. I'm Tshofatso Musala. I consider myself and define myself not only as a professional, but an intellect and an academic. Oh, wow. Beautiful. I have a couple of degrees, and I'm a graduate with the University of South Africa. Beautiful. Studied African and International Politics. Beautiful. I hold a BA Honours. That's right. And I'm also a graduate of Sebata Institute with Project Management and the Kara Heritage Institute with Heritage Practitioners Studies. Okay. So I think being a professional is very important, because it's a long journey. To even receive the title is an honor. It's a journey that is characterized with hard work, passion. You have to embody yourself with different skills. You have to be committed. You have to be disciplined. And there's a lot of sacrifices that so I think professionalism is very significant, because it gives you an advanced thinking, an advanced understanding of different things in the world. And you are able to not be illegal, not be corrupt. That's right. And now you have to be a petrol attendant, because there aren't jobs. 27.2% of our young people are unemployed, which is a huge concern. So they have to demote themselves to doing jobs that are not limited to what they studied. So that's a sad thing. Our professionals now are not recognized within the South African Constitution, and that is what I consider to be a huge struggle in our country in terms of unemployment. That's right. The rate of unemployment is depressing. Yeah. It's upsetting, and is just something that I feel our government has to look into. That's right. Currently, yes.
Now, as I'm hearing you, it is quite depressing, especially if we're talking to professionals who understand, the dimensions of unemployment and what it does to, our young people who give their lives in order to study, and after they finish studying, then they are being subjected to any other duties in the country, while they were supposed to be policy makers and also assist us as a nation taking South Africa forward. Now, I want to just turn to the other professional whom by the name Solofelo Musala, just to pour out in terms of her acumen. She will tell you who she is and what she has attained, and I believe that you would hear mouthful from her. Thank you, Tshwane Musala. Tell us, madam, just out of you in terms of this professionalism and also being a professional. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here in studio. Let me just firstly introduce myself.
That's right.
My name is Tshwane Musala, and I consider myself as an anthropologist. I graduated from University of Pretoria with an honors degree in social sciences anthropology, and went further to obtain my master's degree.
That's right.
Over the years, I was blessed enough to work for universities, for research centers, and heritage institutes.
Okay.
And also I was working for a trade union. So most of my job duties and responsibilities entailed policy coordination.
That's right.
So I feel very much privileged to be here, particularly when we talk of issues of professionalism, because I believe that policies are the foundation of a country.
That's right.
Now, I concur with Theo, who spoke on policies, on rather professionalism, that we have many young people who are unemployed in the country, but they are not occupied where they should be. Doctors or IT technicians who are working jobs that they did not go to school to study. But at the same time, I believe that we need to have policies in place in our country.
In our country, yes.
Even
yes.
general workers,
That's
even
right.
petrol attendants,
That's right.
employees, and
yes.
they are also professional
That's
in
right.
their respectful jobs.
That's right.
So I believe that in 2019, we still have a very long way to go as a country.
That's right.
We have challenges as a country. I like the fact that earlier on you spoke on the issue of Ubuntu.
That's
now,
true.
What is Ubuntu? We need to teach that from a foundation, from a very kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yes.
To teach that what is Ubuntu.
Yes.
Ubuntu deals with sharing, deals with showing love. And I believe that if this discipline of Ubuntu was properly followed,
yes,
some of our politicians or some of our people in our country will not face issues of corruptions or become corruptors, will not face issues of violence or issues of crimes in our country.
I'm with you.
Because if we had that level of foundation of Ubuntu implemented from a very grassroots, we will not be dealing with issues of corruptions and violence that are currently happening in our country.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Now, from where I'm coming from, I deal pretty much with policy implementation. Like
That's
now
right.
we are going towards the elections. We have young people who are crying for jobs. We are
That's
going
right.
towards the election. We have issues of land reform, issues of labor issues, immigration. We still need to realize where is it that we are going as a country in South Africa.
That's right.
Because we are still carrying so much challenges.
That's right. That's right. So are you saying South Africa is burdened because we are a new democracy? That's why we said democracy is a government, but there are so many governments that we can incorporate. You see, that's why the government of Ecoforum is coming with a theocratic approach, whereby you are economical and you are theocratic in where you recognize the creator. Because we are that country of Nkosi Sikelele.
Yes.
Because I think when you are a country of Nkosi Sikelele in Africa, you are at the level whereby independently you know where you actually belong.
Yes.
You go as far as knowing the people that you are and why we are here. When our mothers used to pray, wozamoya wozamoya.
Yes.
So those are things that makes us to be African, because any African child, whether they believe in this or that, they believe in God.
Exactly.
Yeah, because an African child cannot say we believe in other things. We don't even know what to believe in anymore, but they believe in God. Yes. But now, why am I raising that one? I want to ask now, what will be the process of healing?
Yes.
In terms of creating that, cohesive approach of, when you talk social cohesion and we're enforcing it, and the next day we see racism, the other day we see each other as black, the other day we see each other as white. What process, what is it that is needed for us to get there?
For us to heal. I like the fact that you mentioned Nkosi Sikelela.
All right.
Morena Voloka, God bless our land.
Okay, all right.
And this also takes us to the foundation of South Africa. Remember that when our freedom fighters were fighting for the liberation of the country,
yes,
it started in the church.
I'm with you.
There was the Bible.
Yes, sir.
There was the word faith.
Yes.
So they had a strong foundation of God, of the Lord, of the Bible. They had those teachings. Even the writer or the composer
That's
of
right.
Nkosi Sikelela was a Methodist, attended the Methodist church. So when you say God bless our land, it's very important and it's very powerful. So it clearly lays the foundation that we need the principles or the teachings of the Bible that will show us where we are going as a nation. So I believe that what is currently happening in our country clearly shows that we have a diagnosis.
Okay.
We are a very sick country that needs to be healed. But as the question that you posed, that how can we be healed? What is it that we need for us to be healed?
Yes.
It goes back to the Bible, but not only the Bible, but the foundation. The foundation. The children, from the grassroots, what are we teaching our young children, either in schools, either in churches?
That's right.
So this also goes back to policies implementation. It goes back to government to say that we need to bring back the teachings of the Bibles in schools. We need the Department of Education to come into play to say that, no, let's have some form of spiritual teaching. Because even Nkosi Sikelela clearly shows us where our country comes from, to liberation. So we need the Department of Education to come into play. We need government collectively to come into play from the very first kindergarten or even in crèche, when a child grows, grade 1, yes, when a child grows, to say, this is the foundation that we are teaching you, that you must love one another, you must share, practice Ubuntu.
That's right.
Then as you grow and you become an adult, you will therefore know certain things are not allowed, and you won't be obligated to practice what we see and what we hear now, issues of, you can say, racism or corruption or violence and so forth. So it starts from there. But looking at what is currently happening and the challenges that we are faced with in South Africa, I think also government needs to come into play here in terms of formulating strong policies.
Okay.
Policies implementation are very pivotal to see to it where we are going.
Where we are going as a nation.
Definitely, yes.
And I think these are ways of how we could begin to draw, all those white papers, green papers, in order to formulate policies, because we believe in that. You see, that's why when we speak, we're speaking this government as a lawgiver. So that's why this kind of talks will definitely bring us to the place where you give people an opportunity to come on board. But if I hear from your side, it's a scientific approach, and I hear you taking it as further as biblical principles, and it definitely arouses such an interest, because if it's me, people want to conclude that maybe you are speaking because of you are in church or something like that, and which is the mentality we are trying to bring away from the people and from the nation, because it doesn't mean that if I'm in church, then especially what the church is going through now, you find that then my mind, maybe I'm being put to a place to be dwarfismed, as if there's nothing that I can do. I'm a professional in church, so it means we've got them in church. So that's why I said we need a theocratic approach, whereby it's not a business as usual, where we are coming to justice, we are coming to diplomacy, we are coming to professionalism in however we do our things, so that we can be relevant, to our people. Now, taking it further there, because I shouldn't be of a speaker here, because I've got professionals. So this is your time. I need you to talk to South Africa. Now tell us, Ms. Musala. Now on your side, because you're talking professionalism. Now I asked you a question: whether are they Are they getting any recognition? Our student, and you really gave us an answer, an honest one that says partly so, you know, and you end up by saying it looks like professionals are not part of the constitution, yes. But you know, they are the few that benefits from that. Exactly. But we want each and every professional in South Africa to be at the point where we're not toy-toying, we're not, you know, coming to toy-toy, but we talk, you know, on tables, and we definitely come to certain consensus regarding our nation. Now, when you talk professionalism, we're talking people who are educated, am I right? And we're talking people who might not be educated, but who are having this acumenship from what they've acquired in terms of cleaning, you know, a professional cleaner, a professional, you know, general workers you spoke. Ne? So now I want, you know, I'm trying to come to a point where I need you to really lay it out there as you talk to South Africa, like, you know, face them and talk to them as a professionals in how should we formulate those policies of professionals coming the year 2021. Let's talk the future. Let's talk the now, what we can do now and what we can do in the future. And as we are inviting all the professionals to become lawmakers, so they can put together things. And we have that kind of an email, you know, that has emails of professionals talking. Then we put it together and we hear even those that are voiceless to say, this is what they are saying, because they are the real government. Can you talk to South Africa, not in a limit, but in a way of saying, this is how professionals have to be treated and how professional we should be and how we incorporate them in terms of government in South Africa? Yes,
what I can say is that professionals, our nation, they are the future. You know, I'll just start off by saying that it's very sad that we have those who are going to become professionals who are fighting for education. We look at the issues of TUT, Tshwane University of Technology students fighting for an education, fighting to become a professional, fighting to work in a department of, say, environment, department of labor, to be doctors, engineers, and lawyers. So I think the fundamental thing as a young professional is that we need to go to government and lobby, mobilize ourselves and lobby and say, government, you need to respect us, because I feel we are not being respected. After democracy, our young people have been forgotten. Our professionals have been forgotten. I will start off mentioning those who are unemployed and those who are still going to be professionals in the future. We are unemployed. We are looking for jobs. Our parents worked hard to acquire the liberation and democracy. That's and right. Here we are. We have become nothing and we are forgotten. I mean, I will also quote from the Constitution that says that we should heal the division of the past, establish a society based on social justice, democratic value, and fundamental human rights. The rights of education for our young people who should be professionals is diminished. It's non-existent in South Africa. So the government must install that they must respect young people. So when I get into professionals in the workplace, whether you are an IT technician, you are a communication specialist, you are a spokesperson, you are working in the hospital, you are a professional, I realize that in 2019, we are suffering. Young people are facing issues of sexual harassment, gender-based violence in the working environment, especially as young females. That is a huge challenge for our government. Secondly, you have different harassment within the working environment. People are no longer getting jobs in the correct manner. You have to buy jobs from particular people. There's an issue of labor issues of immigration in South Africa, whereby a lot of jobs are preference is given to, say, non-South Africans. Preference is given to unqualified people, whereby if you want a job, you have to buy. Sure. You have to buy a job from so and so. Sure. So I believe in terms of labor, our government also has to come in and say that qualified people must get the jobs. You apply in different places, departments, you find out that your CVs are being thrown away. Preference is given to people who will buy the job. Preference is given to people with particular last names. So I think that as professionals, there's a lot of challenges that we are facing. And in terms of policy, we just have to sit down and be real. Okay. We have to sit down as young people, as the government must engage us. They must interact with us.
That's
and
right.
They must not give preference to certain people of different political parties. I'd say that I like the Eco Forum because it's not a breakaway of any political party.
Absolutely.
It's something brand new,
Yes.
something that has full purpose.
Yes.
And I believe in its political ideology. I believe in that it is a calling that South Africa has long awaited for.
Yes.
Yes, and I feel as if we have to break the umbilical cord of particular political parties. Yes, they are
traditional ones. Yes.
Yes, traditional ones. Because I can concur that people feel attached to particular parties because they fought for the liberation. Yes, they do have mass followers, but they are not making an impact, a massive impact in their followers. So I feel as if the Eco Forum is very relevant in fighting for the rights, the equality, and the lives of young professionals in our country.
Because when you have followers, you have human capital.
Yes.
You see, what makes banks and everything that you see on earth is human capital. So you can't have human capital, have followers of such magnitude,
Yes.
and disband them. Because once you have them, then you can create any other thing. That's where job creation actually entrenches. Why? Because now you've got what? You've got people. You've got human resource. So once you have that, then you can create any other thing. You can create a bank tomorrow, and this number of people will be in that bank.
Exactly.
2 minutes, people have got jobs. From the bank, there's money coming out. Then there's agriculture. There's this, there's that. So establishing ourselves could be easier because of we've got a number of people. But if the government never used the opportunity and the advantage of that, then it shows you that the problem is no longer about the government not being able. The problem could be some of social ills that are taking, are coming out and bringing its big head, on the matter. Because here we need to deliver professionally, am I right? But there's no professionalism where in the very sectors and departments whereby we've got our public servants that we entrust to come on board and be professionals, but they can't. Why? Because of the social ills. You see, when you talk corruption, you are talking about, we understand it as something which is more, it's spiritual. It's not something someone will wake up in the morning, a professional, and say, no, you know what, I want to be corrupt. I want to be known as corrupt. But now I think they get into things that they don't even know about them, and which these are only things that needs prayer, am I right? Sometimes you don't even know why you are doing what you're doing. And some will say, give reasons. So I'm doing this because we don't have food at home. I'm doing this because of, my salary is not, everybody's giving his own interpretation because of that. So I'm thinking that, Ms. Musala, that the problem could be the social ills, which will end up to social injustices that are already there. Yeah, but now with the social illicitness that we see in our nation. And I need you, because I feel like scientifically you are a doctor on that, because you can deal with the heart of South Africa and see where we are sick. Because if we can forgive one to another, let me just say, we said we've forgiven our white brothers in 1994. Did we really forgive? So all those things, are we really forgiving? Will we come to a point where we say we're forgiving? Are our white brothers also realizing where we come from as a nation? Because I say to people, let's talk about it on both sides. Realizing the gravity of where we come from. As we forgive them, do they also come back and say, brother, we understand, or it's going to be arrogance, because we need to come to a complete stance together. The other one must say, I receive you. The other one must say, I am giving to you. And together it's a given, as you said, we share.
Yes.
But are we going to do this alone, or do we need our brothers? All of them must come into play, and we can also push this going forward. So that goes to social cohesion, because I've got my white brothers there, I've got my Indian brothers, my colours. But now the government of Eco Forum is talking South Africans. Because we, as we talk in our papers, we say humankind. So I'm just naming the so-called, in terms of ethnicity and racial position. Why? Because I need our people to understand. Now, who must be at play here? Social cohesion. Who must be at play? and the process of us healing, because I think I'm repeating the question, but I need to know as a doctor that, because it's scientific for me.
Yes.
You see, I'm imparting that upon you, don't know what. But I need to know exactly in how can South Africa come to that point where when somebody throws away racism, then the whole country is standing up. When somebody does this, whether they check the skin, if the skin is white, then too much less. If the skin is black, too much less. If it's we're looking at who can we target in order to bring down.
Yes.
So that's how you find when you say the community of South Africa is sickened. So now, can you just take us through that?
Okay. One of our philosophies as anthropologists is to make the world a safe place for human differences.
All right.
Yes, I do acknowledge that we are all different. But it was one freedom fighter who once said that we only have one race, that is the human race.
That's right.
So we are all humans. As Tshwane has already mentioned in terms of our constitutions, that says that heal the division of the past. Healing is a process. It won't take a day or two or even 10 years or 20 years. It's going to take us a very long time for us to heal. Remember that the apartheid has left us with scars. Every time we look at a black man, a black woman who's working as a gardener, or mama who's working as a domestic worker, that is a scar. It reminds us that the other part of the human race, that is the Caucasian or the Boers, have left this scar. And every time we look at them, we cry. Which is why even today, some people say, no, a black person cannot exercise racism. It's only white people who can. No.
Sure.
Everyone can exercise this racism, be it black or white.
That's
Remember,
right.
as we are in this process of healing, we need to reflect from where we come from. Yes, our past is painful, and some of us, we are still bleeding. But at the same time, in order for us to move forward, we cannot do that alone. Remember what democracy stands for. When the current political party came into power, or the leading party, it said that we will work together. It did not say only black people. It said that we will work together. As black and white.
That's right.
So as black and white people, we all need to heal. As said, or rather as controversial as it might sound now to say that white people also need to heal themselves, so as black people. But the pain falls deeply upon black people. So the process of healing, coming from my side, it's only been less than 30 years of democracy.
That's right.
We still have a long way to go. Remember that apartheid started in 1948. It lasted over 20 years. And now, as a country, we are only in 25 years of democracy. We are still trying to rectify the mistakes of the past. We are still trying to rectify the errors that apartheid has left. And in so doing, it's going to take us a very long time. It's going to take us processes of trying to look deep inside ourselves to say, how do we then move with somebody who came into my house, somebody who raped my mother, somebody who stole all my property in the house, and today that particular somebody is saying, no, it is mine. How are we going to move and say that, no, it's fine, you took it? No, it's gonna be a long process. But at the same time, just like during the apartheid era, what kept our parents strong? What kept our mothers and fathers to have that strength? It is hope.
That's right.
We live by faith. We live by hope.
That's right.
No, with that particular hope, knowing that unemployment, we will defeat unemployment. We will defeat poverty. We will defeat crime and corruption. Remember, the policies of apartheid said to us that black this side, white this side. But I'm very happy to say that today we can walk anywhere. Why? Because it was the faith that our freedom fighters had. It was the confidence that our freedom fighters had. And where does that faith come from?
Yeah, that's right. Talk about that.
Faith had a foundation. That foundation can be, the Bible, can be the Quran can be whatever they believed in. That was the foundation of that.
Yes, they were fundamental, yes.
Definitely,
Yes,
they were
principles.
fundamental.
Yes,
They
yes.
were principal. They knew that one day it shall be well. They knew that today we are in darkness, but one day we shall go to that land of milk and honey, of which it is here. Although that it is here, but we are still battling. It's not easy. We are still battling the giants. Hey, the Goliath.
We're still fighting the giants because
Definitely.
remember, there in the very land, there are giants that we need to deal with before we relatwa meleke ona le. That's right. Wow, that's so mouthful. And let me be honest with you. I'm so feeling blessed because in how you are taking out. I can also, you know, you are conscientizing our nation in regard to the history, and also for people to understand where we come from. And it's very important. I think that's your stance. And that's where you should take us socially, so that we understand the people that we are. And then not even, you know, taking, as I said, racial positions and people feeling, you know, that's my take when I talk land reform. People sometimes think my stance could be a bit, you know, like ignorant. No, it's not. Actually, it's been much hard. It's harsher than expropriation. Yeah, because it doesn't go private. It does. It talks about its restitution. We're talking the diplomacy of this matter, so that you take it out in a way that you say, no, you face the facts. You face the fact, and not losing what we have actually have been retained. You see, the attainment and the maintenance of what we receive, then it should be what we believe that can take South Africa forward. You know, and coming to a place where we know how to say forgive me, and then I forgive you, because that's why we had those commissions, the TRCs and all that. I mean, we have labeled even our elders, like Archbishop Dudu, we have labeled them very bad, because of why people don't understand that we need those kind of stands whereby people can come and say forgive me. We cannot only operate judiciary. No, we can't. Whereby ours is to convict you. No, we need to have even traditional council that will deal with certain matters, you know, at their level. We need to have church which can deal with certain levels. We need to have law. We need to have that, so that we can work holistically to a point where someone comes. Because now look at this thing, 1999, whereby you say to a generation which maybe they don't even know, some of them were part of it, and you say to them, we're giving you an opportunity to come on board and do what? And say, this is my story, plead your case, then seek for forgiveness. Then we go out there, we say, we forgive them. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen with our people. With our people, we crucify them. With our people, we are trying to be out there, and so people can feel like South Africa is democratic, it's judicial, it's, you know, it's on hand, you know, it's relevant. And I think it's wrong, because if we bring amnesty to other, you know, to others and to the others, we you know, I think we need to get a way on how to deal with this matter. I'm working on a document on this, and we need to definitely come up to a time whereby we can deal with this matter. Because remember, all of them, even those that were given an opportunity to come, and especially in the incorporation of South Africa, they came in as politicians, and some of them never knew what will transpire in terms of the finances of this world, and you know, all of those things. But now it happened that then they were given this opportunity to lead a nation with such a great purse in a nation, and then discrepancy came on board. That's why now our politics are connected to, when we talk corruption and all that. So mine was that, didn't we have to take them through processes also, in order to heal these ones who were once liberal, who were once guerrilla, who were only taught how to defend themselves, militant kind of an approach. Even when the cheese is there in a parliament, they throw a knife. That's why you'll find them even wanting to kill one to another just for one to be a councillor. You know, then they will say together we are one. An injury to one is an injury to all. But now today it's no longer like that. I injure you in order to be able to what? To come to a point and a place where I am embraced.
Definitely.
Yeah, I take you down so that I can go up.
Yeah.
That's the idea now. And then now I think we need to look at that and be careful on how things have come about. And I'm excited because I can see that the professionals that are coming forward, they've got the history, they've got the content, and also they are relevant because they are talking to our situation now, but also with solutions coming.
Yes.
And what I loved with what you have said, you have never pointed any party, you have never actually dealt with any leader and said this, that. You are dealing with policies.
Yes.
And if the country can take that level and dimension, I believe we'll go further. So now just in few words and maybe put it out there to South Africans, what do you have in your heart to South Africans? We are also heading to our 8 May general elections, and you can talk to them and you talk to professionals and give them hope and tell them what you can tell them in few minutes, in few seconds. Yes, I know minutes in media, it's like you're talking the whole year. In few seconds, just tell them your heart and as we come to closure.
As we come to closure, all I can say is that to all young professionals and young people, don't lose hope. Always have faith like the Israelites. Always have faith.
Yes.
You know, and I believe that as we go into May 8th, the elections, make the right decision, choose a movement that will uplift you, advance you, assist you, a movement that will fight for your problems, for your challenges and your obstacles. And yes, just go there, have faith, believe, all shall be well with time.
It's taken and wrapped. You see, it's not coming from me, it's coming from Ms. Musala. The professional says, make your own mark. But from me, it will come very soon. Now, what you say, Ms. Musala, just give it to South Africa then.
Okay, for all the young people in particular, voting is very fundamental in our country. So mine is to say that I understand you live in poverty, I understand you are unemployed, but let's remember where we are coming from.
Yes.
Let's remember that many people died, many people's blood,
yes,
many people in our country
yes,
did not have the opportunity to vote, and this is your time. Have hope and make a right decision. Yes, that's all I can say. Make a right decision.
Thank you, Ms. Musala. I would say in last as I'm presiding, because precedents of what we're talking about would have to work for our nation and also for our generation coming. These kind of talks, you'll hear them everywhere in 9 provinces, and my heart is to pour to you, the upper wisdom, him seeing to say, in this season there's a force of reformation coming, not linear, not just soft, but they're coming radically with power. And I can tell you that the nation will be shaken wherever it is. And we're standing in dedication, as you have heard us, in dedication to our elders. We're standing in dedication to humankind in South Africa, Africa, and the world. We're standing in dedication, as we said, to our youth in succession. We're standing in dedication to agriculture reform. We're standing in dedication to education reform. We're standing in dedication to all our people living with albinism, our brothers out there, and we have spoken on their behalf to say they also need to be taken care of, because we cannot allow certain things that are actually happening. We have one of our own in this organization who is a chair of the Western Cape, and a woman actually indeed who's chairing a very important province and also lived in albinism, and she actually is enjoying her life because we have received her and given her love, and that's what we must do. And now in one of the policies we said we must even go back and begin to create a policy that speaks to them in terms of gratuity or grant that could help them in terms of medical needs, because we understand the condition. And now also we said in dedication to all those that are in the streets, there's going to be street care grant, which we are talking to you about. How are we going to do this? How are we going to actually facilitate street care grant? We're going to do it easy in this way. We are going to make sure, because if we can take care of children that we don't know, unborn children, we can take care of those that are still alive, those that are still on the streets asking money at the robots. And now we need everybody to come on board so that we can actually actually work this out. Because the one that you leave on the robot today, not giving him a rent or 2 rand, let me tell you what you've created. You have allowed even the enemy to create what you call a thug that will bash your window tomorrow, a thug that will bash your house tomorrow, angry because they were born in the streets and they were raised in the streets. So now I'm asking to all those my brothers with beautiful attires and those with robes of honor who gets into flats and gets into some departments, passing them, sleeping on the road. From today on, tell them that you are not going to pass because the president of Eco Forum has spoken. We can't pass our brothers on the roads having our briefcases. And I mean, come on. I mean, us going to school and we just pass them there. They are lying down there. That's why when you come back, it's like it's jealousy that arouses and they begin to attack. And when they attack for death. Now let us go back to our people. We are going to clean the cities. We are going to clean what? The cities. We are going to clean South Africa. You have heard this from Eco Forum as a government. We are going to clean the city of Pretoria. We're going to clean Tshwane. We're going to clean Joburg. We're going to clean Cape Town. Nobody deserves to want to sleep on the street. And we believe that now, look, listen to me now. We believe that shelter is a human right, and everybody deserves to have what? A shelter where they can actually sleep. We've got dilapidated buildings that we can put money and budget on and begin to renovate and begin to employ our professionals who will come on board health and also those who come on board social and start helping them out and bring them back to the system, have their IDs on board because they can also participate to the economy of this nation. So now our GPA speaks to us, and our GPA at large, it speaks, as I spoke to you now, to land diplomacy. Let the land go. You see now, it's land going back to the people, but no, we want the people to go back to land. How so? We want the people to go back to land diplomatically so that they can work the land. And this is going to be done amicably. We need all the stakeholders to come on board. We're calling forth for everybody, whether you are the bank, the land bank, to come, stakeholders, all our white brothers and black brothers who have been working the land and enjoying the benefit of the land. We need you on the table. We need all those who are disadvantaged to come on the table. And this can be done fourfold. It's simple, fourfold. It's restoration of the land to the people that did not have, simple. And skills transfer, simple. Principle of the land, simple. Grace, stop cursing the land and say, if we live here, South Africa will be like Zimbabwe. We are calling for our brothers to start loving this country like they do, like they pray for. As we are praying for this nation, we are praying with you together. But we need to face things as they look and as they are. And then let's come together. Together we can do this. And together we can absolutely actually deliver land reformation in our time and also for our generations. And now I say, this is the presidential talk with BJ Langa, the president of Eco Forum. We thank you, and with my guest here, all the misses of Mosala, and we are so blessed to have you as the professionals that have laid out their hearts and let us actually take material and begin to build policies wherever we are in our what? In our communities. And I believe South Africa will not be the same again. SA, back to God, where knowledge is actually derived. Amandla, Luya. Amandla, Luya. Let